YouTube wants me to press the button.
Do you want me to go horizontal?
Yeah, whichever's better for you, yes.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to?
Yes, if that's the best. Yeah, please, if you could, that'd be better. Thank you. Go.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE, welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what SpaceX did to the flat Earth yesterday. Today I'm joined by a very, very special guest, the one, the only, Dom Joly. Dom, hello, thank you very much for taking the time to join me. I know you're extremely busy with your current tour at the moment.
No worries. I'm sitting in a big echoey room somewhere in the Wirral on the other side from Liverpool, so I hope you can hear me. You
sound perfect on my side. I am absolutely stoked. A lot of memories of the very early 2000s is of you, Trigger Happy TV and everything. So to have you on, I am fanboying a little bit. So thank you very much for taking the time. So in case anyone here doesn't know, Dom Joly is a comedian based in Britain, famous, at least for me, originally from Trigger Happy TV. Oh, just 1 second. Hello! Yeah, no, I'm on a stream! Yeah, just on YouTube! Yeah, no, I've got Dom Joly on, I'll have to call you back! Yeah, alright, thanks! Sorry about that, Dom, I do apologise. And in case someone doesn't know, I did just directly steal a joke from Dom, of course. Now, Dom, you weren't really very big in it was more UK, but you did have an American version of Trigger Happy TV. Was that right?
Well, I like to think I was big in America. It was on Comedy Central.
Yes, yeah.
I think it did it right.
Right.
Yes, there was then an American version of it, which was just fucking the worst thing ever made, and I took my name off it, so that was nothing to do with me.
Well, we pretend that the American one didn't happen then, most definitely. Obviously, Trigger Happy TV is what you're very known for, but recently you seem to have taken a bit of a turn into dealing with conspiracy theories and the stranger side of the internet. What dragged you into that? What brought that side of this around?
Well, I write books, and mainly travel books. This is my 5th travel book, and I always need a reason for traveling. So I wrote a book called The Theorists, which was then nicked by Netflix in 2010, where I went off to North Korea and Chernobyl and skiing in Iran. I did a book on monsters, where I went hunting the Bigfoot and the Yeti and stuff like that. I did a book where I walked across Lebanon. I did a book where I drove around Britain, and this is my 5th travel book, in which I go around the world hanging out with conspiracists and looking at conspiracy theories. But as a tourist, pretty much with an open mind, but not for long.
No, I like to have an open mind when I'm talking with conspiracy theorists, but it can be difficult. I read about an experience you had with someone that wanted to see the end of the world.
Well, this was a splinter group of Flat Earth. It was a square Flat Earth.
Yes.
Square Flat Earthers believe there are 4 corners to the square Flat Earth: the island of Hydra, Papua New Guinea, Bermuda Triangle, and an island called Fogo in Newfoundland. So I found a square Flat Earther in St. John's, the capital of Newfoundland, and we drove all across Newfoundland, went to Fogo, went to the edge of the Flat Earth, and no spoiler, there was no drop, no ice wall.
How did the Flat Earther take that?
He didn't take it very well. He insisted we get on a boat and try and go out towards the wall, and we had a very confused fishing captain who said we could only go out for an hour because there was a storm coming, and then when we had to turn around, he accused the captain of being paid by someone, probably Bill Gates. It's always Bill Gates, and insisted that we'd been going around in a circle. It was all very strange.
Oh, so you became part of the conspiracy?
Well, I think I was part of the conspiracy from the beginning, as far as I can see. I don't know. It's very difficult to keep up with. It's impossible to argue with conspiracy theorists, really, because they either inundate you with facts that you can't in any way validate or know whether they're right or wrong. And then if you make any sort of valid point, you're in on it. So, I kind of give up after a bit.
Yeah, personally, I'm an absolute NASA shill, apparently, that is paid to lie on the internet to debunk the flat Earth, to hide it for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'd love to find out where I'm supposed to get this money from, to be honest.
Well, that's my problem. I'm supposedly shilling for Bill Gates, and I have no address to send an invoice to, which is very odd. I've been accused of working for NASA as well. It's very odd. I mean, the thing I really don't understand is if the Earth is flat, then why are NASA so keen to persuade us that it's round? Like, why don't they just say it's flat? I don't understand what's in it for them, pretending it's round if it is flat. There seems to be no logic to it at all, which is why I kind of love it.
Completely, and that's something I spend a lot of time debating flat earthers, and that is a question I've posed many times, and the answer I get most of the time is, oh, they're trying to hide God, which always confuses me, because if God's God, then I don't think we'd be able to hide him. But it's all very, there's always a reason that we're not allowed to know, and they feel very special that they've got the information. And it is very, very interesting.
That's one of the problems with conspiracy theories, is that basically as humans we don't like chaos, and we don't like things to be a bit weird. And so conspiracy theories are very comforting to people. They give them a idea of order when everything is chaos. It's very strange. I mean, I met a flat earther in Chester the other day, and he told me that the edge of the flat Earth was an ice wall in Antarctica, and he said you can't go to Antarctica. Well, I've been to Antarctica, so straight away that was a bit odd. But he then claimed I didn't go to Antarctica, so I showed him proof that I went, which wasn't proof for him. And then he told me that I didn't go to the places where the whole thing is so nonsensical. It just makes you tired in the end.
Yes, I find it endlessly entertaining, though, and I've attempted to use it as a platform to. Obviously, I argue with the flat earthers, but I like to then explain using actual physics and science why they're wrong. Obviously, the flat earthers will never agree with or understand any of it, so for them it's kind of pointless. But for the people that do watch, it is nice that it's a way to describe physics with a bit of entertainment behind it. I've heard some absolutely crazy things from flat earthers. I'll tell you the craziest thing that I've ever heard. I debated a flat earther that called himself Flat Earth Jesus, and he told me that the moon was dug out of the Grand Canyon by giants. They took the material, they melted it into quartz, and whilst it was still cooling, they filled it with helium. And that's why there's bubbles. It was craters, the bubbles making the craters. And then they put it in the sky to mock us for worshipping the sun. And of course, he then called me the idiot because I said, no, it's just Earth's natural satellite. There's the crazy, a lot of crazy. How would you respond to something like that?
Well, I'm afraid a lot of it is a mental illness, actually. And that's the problem. I think there are certain flat earthers I slightly suspect of being into it just to be contrarians, really, because it's kind of the most extreme thing you could possibly think of, really. It goes against our entire belief system, really. And so certainly there were a couple of philosophy professors in North America that kind of I think did it almost as a philosophical experiment about like what's the most ludicrous thing we can propose, and then let's argue it. And I think it started like that. I think a lot of these things, a lot of conspiracies start as jokes or in jokes or sarcastic references online in places, and then like everything, 10 to 20% of people take things seriously. In my book, I found a conspiracy called Finland Doesn't Exist. And basically the theory was that Finland, the country, doesn't exist. Russia and Japan had conspired to invent a country in 1917 so they could have fishing rights. And that started off as a Reddit thread, as a joke. But of course, people took that and then took it seriously. And by the time I got to Finland, if it was Finland, Finns had heard of it and everything. So, yeah, I mean, conspiracy theories are funny. And that's why I wrote the book. But they're not funny. In the old days, conspiracy theories were kind of innocent. Did we land on the moon? I don't give a shit. I mean, we obviously did, but I don't really give a shit. Bigfoot, don't know if that's a conspiracy. Is Elvis still alive? And then in about 2015, conspiracies jumped the shark and kind of became part of the body politic and kind of got a bit more serious, actually, and a bit more dangerous, with people like Donald Trump fully embracing them, and Kellyanne Conway saying things like alternative facts. And yeah, it got very bad. So I think they're not funny anymore.
No, you're right.
That's why I don't have a problem with flat earthers. Like, I bumped into a couple in Chester. They're just, they're preaching their stuff. I mean, who cares really? But actually, I think it is important to stand up for truth. There's a real kind of anti-expert thing going on, an anti-science thing, and I think that's really dangerous.
No, you're absolutely 100% right. The majority of flat earther, for people like me and Simon Dan and MC Toon, is it's comedy, it's entertainment. But you're absolutely 100% right that there is a dangerous side to it. That you lead to other conspiracies like against medicine that can save people's lives, and it heads into the realm of being much more dangerous than funny. And I always feel like flat Earth is almost a gateway conspiracy. If you can believe that the Earth is flat, then that clearly means everybody is lying to you, and that opens up the avenue to everything else being fake. And like you said, it then leads into the realms of mental illness, and it can be concerning.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I found, is that gateway drug's the right word. I mean, I found a very weird correlation between belief in new age hippie type shit and conspiracies. And then so to me, crystals are a gateway drug. If anybody in your family or friends start collecting crystals, then they're soon going to be going down the rabbit hole. It is odd. Like, once people believe in one theory, they tend to go for the whole lot. And I think it's one of the really depressing things about conspiracy theories, because I'm certainly not claiming that conspiracies have not existed. With conspiratorial people, companies and corporations have behaved terribly, but that's a crime often, not a conspiracy. And governments have behaved incredibly badly, so vote them out or lock them up. But it's not always a conspiracy. I think that's the problem. And the problem with a conspiracist mindset is that you start to just think everyone is evil, everyone's hiding stuff, everyone's lying, and that's just such a deeply depressing worldview. And it's also total bollocks, because most people I know are generally good. And actually, I've met a lot of people in power. And actually, the idea that these people can run these sophisticated conspiracies is just so fucking insane. They can't run a parking system normally. So that's my big problem with a lot of conspiracies, is the amount of people necessary to keep a lid on it is just insane. And the idea that Donald Trump, when he was president, would have had knowledge of all these things and couldn't, and the fact that he wouldn't have told us, come on. I mean, guy can't keep his mouth shut about anything.
Exactly. There's a sect of flat earthers that were convinced that Donald Trump was a flat earther and was going to announce it to the world, because he said some crazy things that they partly agreed with. And, therefore he must know the actual truth. But obviously that never happened. It does.
Donald Trump's never known the truth anyway. So actually, if Donald Trump did come out and say the Earth was flat, I might actually start to believe him, because he's consistently wrong on everything. So it's very odd.
Yeah, you better not say the Earth is globe. That might be worrying for everybody else.
Yeah.
But it is concerning that with all the information that's just at your fingertips in the world, that people can still fall into this. And I read a paper about the moon landing conspiracy and how many people would have to be involved, and they mathematically figured out that it would be impossible to keep that information from the amount of people that would be involved, and then the amount of people that those people knew. And it would, it's just literally impossible to imagine that a secret that big could be compartmentalized so well and kept from so many people, and no one on their deathbed or anything has ever come out and said, yeah, absolutely, I never went to the moon, it's all a lie. It's craziness, right?
Yeah, it is. But actually, the moon landing is really interesting, because you can see exactly where that conspiracy comes from. Because the idea of landing on the moon is so, certainly in the 60s, was so like, oh my God, it's a big step. Kennedy makes this massive speech at the beginning of the decade, just basically saying that by the, he's in a race with the Soviets. He's saying by the end of the decade, America will land on the moon. And suddenly you're getting to 1969, you're running out of time. and they just squeeze it in. So you can see, you think, fuck, they must have thought, shit, we're not going to make it. Let's fake it. There's tiny bits of the moon landing that makes possible sense in the conspiracy. I don't think it's beyond the realm of reason that some of those photographs possibly were taken in a studio because maybe they thought they wouldn't get good photographs. I don't know. I mean, I find it hard to believe, but I think we've definitely landed on the moon because mainly, I just don't think you can keep a thing of that big a secret. And apart from anything else, the whole reason supposedly the conspiracy exists was that they wanted to lie so they could beat the Russians.
Yeah.
Well, the Soviets would certainly know if we didn't land on the moon, and they would have exposed it. So it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
not just the Soviets, but I mean, pretty much every nation in the world at this point. Australia and China, they've all got orbiters. India, they had Chandrayaan lander earlier in the year. There's so many other nations that would have been like, oh, well, actually, there's no evidence the USA ever went. But apparently, every nation, even ones entirely hostile to America, say, well, yeah, they actually did. Which then goes back to the conspiracy theorists thinking that everyone's in it together. Even all of the countries that don't like each other, they're actually friendly and fooling us that the Earth is flat and we didn't go to the moon.
I mean, I think a lot of these things are conspiracy theories are frankly inadequate people trying to basically be contrarian for the sake of it, try and get some attention, and try and sort of self-validate themselves to feel special, really, that they've somehow found out some amazing secret knowledge that no one has, and that gives them a feeling of power. It's very strange.
Yeah, the need to feel special, and a lot of flat earthers, they post on social media. A lot of the posts are, oh, well, you think you're an insignificant dot, but we know what we're here for. We know that our God put us here in this perfectly created dome, and it is a lot of it is the need to feel special.
I didn't know that. A lot of flat earthers very religious. Then is that there's a religious element?
I'd say of the real flat earthers that there are, I'd say the majority are actually religious, and a lot of it comes from literal interpretations of things in the Bible, like it describing a firmament. Therefore, they think we're in a dome. Therefore, the Earth is flat, and things like the Bible would say God looks down on His circle, and we were ants upon it. They think, oh well, the flat Earth could be a circle, but not the globe Earth. But they forget that the Bible is something that's been translated and retranslated for thousands of years. And if you go back to the original words, like firmament actually meant expanse, not dome. And but they're unable to separate. Oh, look, this proves me right. Therefore, I am right. And it's all quite worrying.
That's very interesting. And actually, there are a lot of correlations between religion and conspiracies. You used to say, don't talk about politics or religion. And I think you have to add conspiracies to that because it's caused massive rifts in families and friends.
Absolutely.
But I think you have to have the same kind of blind faith as kind of people who are religious do in a Bible. As it's exactly the same mentality of just, I don't need facts, I just know, and it's crazy.
The crazy thing is, if you speak to actual Christians, or the authorities of the church, they don't say the Earth is flat. They completely. In fact, if you want to say who came up with the heliocentric model, it was the Big Bang was created by a Catholic priest, or at least was conceptualized by a Catholic priest. So it is to say that the Bible says the Earth is flat. It is just false. But because these flat earthers need that confirmation, as soon as they see something that could maybe possibly back them up, that's it. They're validated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these people don't have much of a social life, I think.
That is true. And that is where the internet, I feel, has become sometimes a problem because it's allowed...
It's a massive problem.
Yeah.
It's one of the big quotes in my book, which is that, in the old days, every village had an idiot. But unfortunately, they went on the internet and they've all met up. And that's the problem. Yeah.
And there you have this village of idiots that all think that they are smart and refuse to listen to anyone else. Absolutely. Me and another streamer, we host each year something called the Dunning-Kruger, the Top Left Awards, which is based on the Dunning-Kruger chart. You live at the top left of the Mount Stupid. And we point out the people that think that they understand and think they're smart, but really, really know very, very little. And it's getting more and more worrying how many people think like that. And how the internet has facilitated that that validation that they get. If they can find something or someone else on the internet that agrees with them, therefore they're right.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a kind of validating echo chamber. But then, to be honest, they'd say exactly the same about this, about us. But the difference is that they think they have no qualifications and they think they're right. I have no qualifications, but I listen to people that do, and that's the difference. I trust experts in their field, that's the solid difference. I don't know anything. I've not been up there. I haven't seen. I've been up in my hot air balloon. I was in Concorde. I saw the curvature of the Earth from Concorde.
I'm jealous.
So I've seen it, but I couldn't physically prove it. But then I went to Finland. I couldn't prove to your satisfaction that Finland exists. I could have been landed in Sweden and all the people were crisis actors, but it's very unlikely.
Exactly, the amount of people that would have to be doing this, and the amount of, you can get a balloon, a weather balloon, and go up to space yourself and take pictures of the countries and see that Finland's there. But it's never going to be good enough. I often say that you could literally strap one of these people to the front of a Falcon rocket and send them to space, and they would just tell you that they had their eyeballs replaced with cameras to make them think that. Nothing will ever convince these people. And whether that's down to willful ignorance, stupidity, or a mental issue is very hard to figure out, to be honest.
I'm afraid it's a mental issue. I think it's something that probably started as a hobby and becomes a fixation, and it becomes your identity as well, because it becomes your tribe, it becomes your social network. It becomes, it's a very frightening thing. But there's always been anti-sciencers. There's always been, I mean, these are recent converts at the University of YouTube, but there you go. But look, we're on YouTube now, I assume. So there you go.
Exactly, yes, we are. We've got like 380 people watching right now, So, of course, there's going to be comments in here because I've got you, a nice big celebrity, on that. We're obviously been connected by NASA and we're all just together fighting against the flat Earth. That's going to be fun to respond to.
Yeah, I was paid by NASA to appear on this. I've been working for NASA for a very, very long time.
Dom, I said we're live.
Huh?
I said we're live. You can't say that.
No, it's absolutely fine. I don't think it's a secret at all. I've been working for NASA for a long time. I was one of their top rocket scientists for ages. No, I mean, it's so fucking insane. I mean, even Bill Gates, it's quite funny. Bill Gates comes in for a lot of stick. And I'm like, I'm no fan of Bill Gates. He dresses like he's been dressed by his dad. I'm sure he's done terrible things, but there's just so many worse billionaires out there. I mean, Elon Musk, total cunt. Why don't we ever go at him? It's like, it's very weird, the people that get chosen to be supposedly the big baddies. But there you go. Probably, again, I'm now defending him, so I must be paid by him. I mean, it's fucking crazy. But anyway, if anyone out there does know where I can invoice Bill Gates for this work, or NASA, because they haven't paid me either, I'd really love that. That'd be great. Send me an address.
Yeah, if I find out, I'll definitely let you know.
I'm getting ready for my show.
Yep, so today, you're in Worcester today, aren't you? Worcester today, and tomorrow you're in Swindon. And if anyone wants to get tickets to Dom's show, it's domjoly.tv, right?
That's right. I'm in Liverpool tonight, and then I'm in Worcester tomorrow. Swindon, I think it's sold out. Oxford Monday, Essex, God knows. Just go to domjoly.tv and all the tour dates are there. But yeah, it is a tour. It is a show all about conspiracies and about all the stuff that I've done on my in my conspiracy book. So I think it'll touch on a lot of things that people who watch this probably know about, but also I think probably a couple of things you don't know about. But it's all in jest.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're very busy. I'll let you go and have fun. And hopefully when you come up to Scotland, I'll see your show up here.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for having me on.
No worries. Thank you for coming, Dom. Lovely to speak to you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Oh, fanboying. Yes. Oh, my goodness. So just a quick stream today, guys, with one of my comedic heroes, Dom Joly. He is currently doing the conspiracy tour, which you can get tickets to at domjoly.tv. Today he's in Liverpool, tomorrow in Worcester, then Swindon, if you're in any of those areas, and he'll be coming up to Scotland later in the year with that tour as well. He's literally about 20 minutes away from doing a live show right now, so he's I'm very, very grateful that he took the time whilst he's out on the road to come and talk to me, because he is extremely busy. I feel entirely honoured But thank you guys for watching. I don't want to keep this very long. Hopefully I can make a few shorts out of that. And, you know, I'm very excited that I just got the chance to speak to Dom Joly. Thank you everyone for supporting me. Icy Spin 199 says here for the evidence and the tacos. So just tacos. Dave McKeegan, member for 3 months, says Flerf in Chester. That could well be Peter and Pete. It definitely was. It was 100% Peter and Pete. I saw the video. They often publicly speak in Chester City. And then Icy Spin 199 says NASA is all fake. All rockets end up in Bermuda. That's secret. Please don't say that. And if anyone does know the number to contact NASA on for HR and payment, please let me and Don Joly know. Very much appreciate you watching my quick show today. I will be back tomorrow night where I'm debating Flatsoid and modern day debates. And Sunday I am debating Muslim from Mecca. Monday I am debating Ross from Real Offended again. And I was going to be debating another Flerf next Friday, but he seems to have deleted, blocked me on Twitter. But Wednesday I'll be having Rachie on to have an interview with an ex-Flat Earther. And lots to do, lots to see you, and thank you very much for watching. Remember that stupidity is not right. Fight the Flat Earth. Fight the Flat. Fight the Flat. Don't know why that stopped. Play, please. I broke my outro, guys. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight. There we go. Fight the flat. 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 Fight the flat.